Good evening. Welcome to Minecraft and Poetry for Sleep. I'm your reader, Athena Aries. Welcome back. And a special thanks to Project Gutenberg for providing free access to the public to classic works of literature and poetry in the public domain. Footsteps of Angels by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. When the hours of day are numbered, and the voices of the night wake the better soul that slumbered to a holy calm delight, ere the evening lamps are lighted, and, like phantoms grim and tall, shadows from the fitful firelight dance upon the parlor wall. Then the forms of the departed enter at the open door. The beloved, the true-hearted, come to visit me once more. He, the young and strong, who cherished noble longings for the strife, by the roadside fell and perished, weary with the march of life. They, the holy ones and weakly, who the cross of suffering bore, folded their pale hands so meekly, spake with us on earth no more. And with them the being beauteous, who unto my youth was given, more than all things else to love me, and is now a saint in heaven. With a slow and noiseless step comes that messenger divine, takes the vacant chair beside me, lays her gentle hand in mine, and she sits and gazes at me with those deep and tender eyes, like the stars, so still and saint-like, looking downward from the skies, uttered not, yet comprehended is the Spirit's voiceless prayer, soft rebukes in blessings ended, breathing from her lips of air. Oh, though oft depressed and lonely, all my fears are laid aside, if I remember only such as these have lived and died. Flowers by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Spake full well in language quaint and olden, one who dwelleth by the castled Rhine, when he called the flowers so blue and golden, stars that in earth's firmament do shine. Stars they are, wherein we read our history, as astrologers and seers of eld, yet not wrapped about with awful mystery, like the burning stars which they beheld. Wondrous truths, and manifold as wondrous, God hath written in those stars above, but not less in the bright flowerets under us stands the revelation of his love. Bright and glorious is that revelation, written all over this great world of ours, making evident our own creation in these stars of earth, these golden flowers. And the poet, faithful and far-seeing, sees alike in stars and flowers a part of the self-same universal being, which is throbbing in his brain and heart. Gorgeous flowerets in the sunlight shining, blossoms flaunting in the eye of day, tremulous leaves with soft and silver lining, buds that open only to decay, brilliant hopes all woven in gorgeous tissues, flaunting gaily in the golden light, large desires with most uncertain issues, tender wishes blossoming at night. These and flowers and men are more than seeming. Workings are they of the self-same powers, which the poet in no idle dreaming seeth in himself and in the flowers. Everywhere about us are they glowing, some like stars to tell us spring is born. Others, their blue eyes with tears o'erflowing, stand like Ruth amid the golden corn. Not alone in spring's armorial bearing, and in summer's green emblazoned field, but in arms of brave old autumn swearing, in the center of his brazen shield. Not alone in meadows and green alleys, on the mountain top, and by the brink of sequestered pools and woodland valleys, where the slaves of nature stoop to drink. Not alone in her vast dome of glory, not on graves of birds and beasts alone, but in old cathedrals, high and hoary on the tombs of heroes, carved in stone. In the cottage of the rudest peasant, in ancestral homes whose crumbling towers, speaking of the past unto the present, tell us of the ancient games of flowers. In all places then, and in all seasons, flowers expand their life and soul like wings, teaching us, by most persuasive reasons, how akin they are to human beings. And with childlike, credulous affection, we hold their but tender buds expand, emblems of our own great resurrection, emblems of the bright and better land. The Beleaguered City by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I have read in some old marvelous tale, some legend strange and vague, that a midnight host of spectres pale beleaguered the walls of Prague. Beside the Moldau's rushing stream, with the wan moon overhead, there stood as in an awful dream the army of the dead. White as a sea fog, landward bound, the spectral camp was seen, and with a sorrowful, deep sound the river flowed between. No other voice nor sound was there, no drum nor sentry's pace. The mist-like banners clasped the air, as clouds with clouds embrace. But when the old cathedral bell proclaimed the morning prayer, the white pavilions froze and fell on the alarmed air. Down the broad valley fast and far, the troubled army fled. Up rose the glorious morning star. The ghastly host was dead. I have read in the marvelous heart of man that strange and mystic scroll, that an army of phantoms vast and wan beleaguered the human soul. Encamped beside life's rushing stream, in fancy's misty light, gigantic shapes and shadows gleam, portentous through the night. Upon its midnight battleground, the spectral camp is seen, and with a sorrowful, deep sound, flows the river of life between. No other voice nor sound is there in the army of the grave. No other challenge breaks the air, but the rushing of life's wave. And when the solemn and deep church bell entreats the soul to pray, the midnight phantoms feel the spell, the shadows sweep away. Down the broad vale of tears of our, the spectral camp is fled. Faith shineth as a morning star. Our ghastly fears are dead. Midnight Mass for the Dying Year by Henry Wadsworth Wadsworth Longfellow. Yes, the year is growing old, and his eye is pale and bleared. Death, with his frosty hand and cold, plucks the old man by the beard sorely, sorely. The leaves are falling solemnly and slow. Caw-caw, the rooks are calling. It is a sound of woe, a sound of woe. Through woods and mountain passes, the winds like anthems roll. They are chanting solemn masses, singing, pray for this poor soul. Pray, pray. And the hooded clouds, like friars, tell their beads in drops of rain, and patter their doleful prayers. But their prayers are all in vain, all in vain. There he stands, in the foul weather, the foolish fond old year, crowned with wildflowers and with heather, like a weak despised leer, a king, a king. Then comes the summer-like day, bids the old man rejoice, his joy, his last. Oh, the man grey loveth that ever soft voice, gentle and low. To the crimson woods he saith, to the voice gentle and low of the soft air like a daughter's breath, pray do not mock me so, do not laugh at me. And now the sweet day is dead, cold in his arms it lies, no stain from its breath is spread over the glassy skies, no mist or stain. Then too the old year dieth, and the forests utter a moan like the voice of one who crieth in the wilderness alone, vex not his ghost. Then comes, with an awful roar, gathering and sounding on, the storm wind from Labrador, the wind, Euroclydon, the storm wind. Howl, howl, and from the forest sweep over the red leaves away. Would the sins that thou abhorrest, O soul, could thus decay and be swept away. For there shall come a mightier blast, there shall be a darker day, and the stars from heaven downcast, like red leaves, be swept away. Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison.